Welcome back to the Arsenal transfer show on the Football Corner. We have a lot of news to get through. There's so much that's happened in the last 2 days. Let's get through this. Channel. Firstly, if you're new, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and let me know down below what your thoughts are so far on the transfer window. We are on day 7, I believe now. So guys, let's get straight into this, starting off with number 1, which is the Declan Rice saga. Now it looks like a second bid made for 75 million and 15 million worth of add-ons to make it 90 million overall has been made, and the deal got rejected by West Ham again. Now I don't understand why we keep on lowballing. For me, West Ham have clearly said to us, we want 100 million for the player, 100 million guaranteed. So if they want 100 million, why are we going for 90? Why are we trying to lowball and trying to get a better deal? Just pay the 100 mil. Let's get Declan Rice in, and then let's move on to the next player. Because I don't understand what haggling with the cost is. Why are we haggling with the cost? For what reason? Because once we get this price done, and then we finally realize, oh, we should pay 100 mil. A team like City is just gonna swoop in, pay the asking price, offer him outrageous wages, and then they're gonna once it comes to the who you go to, City or Arsenal, he's gonna pick City because City is a team where you can win trophies guaranteed. They win trophies every year, and you're playing with better players, a higher level, and you're playing day in, week out. He's gonna be a starter in that team. He will be a starter in that team. Especially with Gundogan going now, they will find a way to fit him in for him to be a starter in that team. Now, when it comes to us, listen, we've offered him the project, and from what we hear, he loves the project, wants to join Mikel Arteta's side. So for me, we need to go in and get him, because City can easily just pay double the wages that we're going to pay, and he will go there. Because no matter what happens with, if the player prefers a certain team or not, eventually they're gonna just go for the money in it. Wherever the money is, if it's an outrageous amount of money, wherever the money is, they're gonna go to that place. So let's stop all this playing around, and let's go in, get our man Declan Rice, bring him to the club, because I'm sick and tired of sitting around penny pinching, trying to get the best deal. Like, come on, man. We have players that we're going to get rid of, and we have players that we want to bring in. Let's go and bring in these main targets. Let's not sit here pissing about trying to get the best deal for them. Yeah, just go in there and pay what you think is what the asking price is, and let's forget about trying to get a good deal. What we know, there is a third bid apparently supposed to be put in, which will hit the 100 million valuation of the player. Now all we can do is hope that this bid, it gets accepted and we can get Rice in as soon as possible. As I've expressed multiple times, it is of great importance that we get this guy in ASAP. Yeah, we can't sit here haggling about the price, haggling about this, haggling about that, just trying to get the cheaper deal, like I said before. But guys, moving on to the second story, which is Kai Havertz. Looks like this deal is literally on the brink of being completed. We had our first deal rejected. Now we've got a second bid which we've put in for Kai Havertz, which is coming out at 60 million. The proposal is expected to be about 60 million. And understand that the deal could reach up to 65, with the player due to be on 220k a week. Now listen, for me, like I've said, I didn't really want Kai Havertz, but if the manager wants him, listen, there's a lot of managers that want this guy. Like, we've seen City show interest, we've seen Madrid show interest, we've shown interest. There's a lot of teams that have shown interest. Bayern Munich. So clearly there's something in this guy that managers seem to think that they can get out of him. So for me, I would bring him in and see what we can do. But listen, 60 mil for a backup is crazy. That's crazy money. 60 mil for a backup. I mean, bro, listen, you can add 40 mil to that, and then you've got yourself Caicedo right there. Done. That's a done deal. Finished. 100 mil, he's ours. So it's just, for me, they need to be 100% sure that this is going to work out, because we can't, this is such an important transfer window for us. We're going into the Champions League next season. We cannot be having passengers, players that aren't going to carry their own weight. And listen, Havertz needs to carry his own weight. Yeah, I'm seeing so many videos and clips of him doing stupid things on the pitch. And yeah, I know clips can be implemented in a way to make players look bad as well as good. But listen, from what I've seen last season, he's clearly had a bad season. But that can also be put towards Chelsea having a bad season as a whole. So there were a lot of attackers there that had a bad season. But as well as that, he had a bad season, wasn't playing well. That was at the striker position, which I don't necessarily see him playing very well in. I don't think he's a striker. Now, from what we've heard, he wants to be, they want to play him as a striker, as a backup to Jesus, as well as other positions on the pitch. But listen, this guy needs to be nowhere near the striker position, nowhere near that position of centre forward or anything like that. He doesn't have passing. He doesn't pass well enough to be a 10. Take on an Odegaard position. And yeah, for me, maybe he can play that left 8 position. That's the only position I really see him playing, you know. But yeah, for me, it's just getting that right, the right players in right now. Obviously, Havertz, in my opinion, is not the right player. I wouldn't bring him in, but the club wants to bring him in. So listen, I'll support it for now and see what happens. But obviously, I don't completely agree that we should be bringing him in. Now, the third story of the day is Romeo Lavia. Now, Romeo Lavia, this has escalated very quickly today. Arsenal FC close to agreeing personal terms with Romeo Lavia. Arsenal now run the race due to Emeka Obasi's relationship close to the Arsenal bosses, as explained days ago, who want to anticipate concurrences of Chelsea FC with an offer to the Saints submitted soon. We need to wait and see. And now we also have Fabrizio Romano, who has put out, understand Arsenal advancing in talks to sign Romeo Lavia. Negotiations ongoing with Southampton, and the players' camp still no official bid. Southampton want record fee for Romeo. Man United remain interested, but priority is Mount. Chelsea keeping a close eye also. Now listen, Lavia, like I said, yeah, not an experienced player, so I don't think he can start for us on a regular basis in the Champions League and stuff like this, just because, listen, he's very young, and that could show him showing us inexperience within his first season playing for Arsenal. Now it looks like we're really trying to go and get this deal done. It's talked about 50 mil fee, so 50 million being the fee that is reported to be paid. Now I'm hoping we can get it for like a 35-40 million, something like that. I'm pretty sure we can try and get him in. We just need to negotiate with Southampton, and hopefully we can get this deal over the line as well. But yeah, we need other midfielders. It's really important that we get other midfielders Now moving on to the next story, which is Jurrien Timber. Now Jurrien Timber coming in from Ajax, as reported, a lot of reports going around about Jurrien Timber joining us from Ajax. Now, from what I know about this player, obviously I've seen clips and I've seen stats, but as we know, stats can tell a whole different story, as well as clips. Compilations are the most dangerous things in football. We know that a compilation can make Yaya Sanogo look like a world-class striker just off of a 5-minute clip. So for me, I don't fully go off of compilations, but from what I've heard, I've spoken to one of my friends who actually watches the Dutch league on a regular basis, given that he supports Feyenoord, so he watches the Dutch league on a regular basis, also follows and watches a lot of Ajax games as well. So yeah, he watches the Dutch league, and he has told me that, listen, this guy is a top talent, very, very top talent. Can play a centre back, right back, even in the midfield. He played in the CDM role. So listen, a very, very big talent over here, and it looks like we were trying to bid 30 million for him, but it looks like Ajax are trying to get 50 mil. Now, what came out, because it was going around 30 mil bid, but it got rejected. They want a bigger fee. They want 50 mil. That's the talk that's going around. Now, it's interesting that just about 20 minutes ago from me recording this video, some breaking news came out from Eduardo Hagen, which says Ajax and Jurrien Timber agreed on a release clause when he signed the contract extension last summer. The clause will become active in 2 weeks. It remains to be seen what the value of the clause is. Now, from what I've seen, they want a higher clause. They want a higher fee than the release clause. So they're willing to take 50 million or over. Now that makes me think that the release clause is less than 50 million. Otherwise, they would be wanting way more than that. You know? So for me, it's making me think that the release clause is lower than 50 million. Now, if that's the case, do we wait out for 2 weeks and see what the release clause is? Because they haven't specified on here. As we see on here, it says the release clause, it remains to be seen what the value of the release clause is. So we already know, we have no idea what the release clause is. So do we wait 2 weeks, see what happens, see if we can try and get a cheaper deal for him? Obviously, if we can get the release clause done and then we can purchase him for the release clause, that would be great. I think he's a versatile defender, versatile player, can play in many positions, and for me, this is a goer. I would jump at the chance of signing him. Yeah, I think the personal terms are already agreed. This is coming from tier 1 journalist at in Netherlands that normally report on Ajax on a daily basis, so they definitely know what they're talking about. And yeah, listen, I would 100%, well, I hope that we can get this guy, because this guy's a big talent. From what I hear, from what I see, from what I've seen from the limited games that I've watched of him in the Champions League, yeah, it's just he looks like a very dangerous player. And for me, I feel like we need to go and get him. We need to go and get him, get it all sorted. Let's get it done, and then let's see what happens, man. But yeah, moving on to the next story, which is İlkay Gundogan. Now, this story is building up a little traction again. Now, so 2 reports have come out. One saying Barcelona are optimistic that Gundogan will accept their offer, but in the last few hours, Arsenal have been really pushing to sign the player. Now, that's coming from Roger Torello. Now, another one coming from Con Harrison, who is another source for some Arsenal news, has said Arsenal still really pushing hard on that İlkay Gundogan deal. Club have offered a contract to the player. Constant dialogue between intermediaries and agent. Player to make a decision soon, but Arsenal are still in the race. Now, it looks like we're pushing hard to get this one done. We're trying to get the deal done. And for me, I feel like we can get this deal done. I feel like we can bring him in. Obviously, the decision is up to him completely, but I feel like we definitely need to bring him in with what we're going to talk about next. This guy needs to come in, and I really hope he can choose us. I hope that our system and our project is attractive to him, because I think İlkay Gundogan is a very good player. Very good player. I rate him very highly. So yeah, for me, I would definitely bring him in and see what we can do in regards to having him in the squad. His experience in the Champions League, experience at the top level. İlkay Gundogan is such a good player, and listen, if we get him, I will be over the moon, because he's such a good player, and it would be one of the best signings of the summer, because that experience, you can't buy that experience. You can't. Nowadays, that experience will cost you 70-80 mil. We're getting him for free, so you have to look at it. It's falling into our laps, and right now, I just hope that he picks us. Now, moving on to the last stories coming up here, which is Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey due to leave. Now, this one came out of nowhere. A bit of breaking news that the negotiations will follow. Well, this is what Fabrizio Romano said. Negotiations will follow in the next days between Thomas Partey's camp and clubs in Europe and Saudi. He has a concrete chance of leaving this summer, as revealed on Sunday. And on Sunday, we revealed that there is a chance for Thomas Partey to leave. Clubs are interested, and there are discussions about his exit. He is contracted until June 2025, and there are no talks of an extension for his contract. Now, listen, get rid of Thomas Partey. He's experienced in the Champions League, so if we're getting rid of Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey, we best as hell be bringing in at least 3 midfielders now. We need 3 midfielders now. This is what I was talking about when we were saying we need Gundogan, Lavia. We obviously got Rice. Listen, we need as much as we can in the midfield, because we already saw last season that our squad, especially in the midfield, there's depth needed in the midfield, depth needed in the defense, and we need depth. So the more players we can bring in of a higher level, higher quality, or a decent level, the better. We need to be bringing them in, because for me, I can't be having the players going that have experience and players coming in that have no experience in the Champions League. We're in the Champions League now. This isn't the Europa League where we can just put in a second team and we'll win the game. It doesn't work like that, especially when you're coming up against teams like Bayern Munich. Now, I'm hoping we can get these players in, and it won't make such a marker that he's missing. But listen, for me, I think we can get this deal done, bring in these players, and if the Thomas Partey leaves, we can get a decent sum for him, especially from Saudi. Given that Saudi at the moment are buying everyone as we speak, they're literally going and just throwing deals out at everyone. So for me, listen, I feel like we can get a decent fee for him. So hopefully Saudi can come in for him, and then they can offer us maybe a 40-50 mil decent fee, try to get our money back that we paid for him, and yeah, I would be more than happy if that happened. Now, moving on to the next story, which is Tierney staying at Arsenal. Now, from what I can see on this post, it says Tierney to stay at Arsenal. Journalist Steve K has claimed that Kieran Tierney is likely to remain at Arsenal this summer. And Steve K has said here, as we quote, talks between Kieran Tierney and Arsenal regarding the Scottish defender staying at the club next season are progressing well. Reports have stated that the Gunners were willing to take 35 plus million plus for Tierney this summer, with Aston Villa and Newcastle interested. Now it looks like Tierney could stay. Great news to hear with the Scottish fullback, a fan favourite amongst Gooners. Now listen, as you guys know, Kieran Tierney, one of my favourite players at the club, so this just comes as great news for me, and I'm so happy that he's staying. So happy that he's gonna be at the club for longer, and he gets a chance to prove himself in the Champions League, because I still think there's something that he can do for us. I still think that he can prove himself for us, and he's still got a place in this team. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but for me, I feel like he is a very good left back, and he is one that a player that can definitely take us forward, not push us back. And yeah, for me, it's just I'm just so happy with this news. Now, moving on to the final story of the day. Sorry guys, I know we've gone through so much today. It's a really long video, but this is the final story of the day, which is Balogun. Now, now Ollie from the AI Informer, the Arsenal Informer, has come out and said Balogun will be a part of Arteta's plans for the pre-season that is set to start early July. Following this, there is more serious discussions about the player's future at the club. Another loan is off the cards, as publicly expressed by the player. He wants first team football. Now, as we can see, he wants to play first team football. He doesn't want to go out on loan. He wants to be a first team player at the club. He wants some first team football, and I think we can give that to him. There are also reports coming out saying that Eddie is to be sold, and he is one of the players that's up there, so they will listen to offers for Eddie, so as well as Balogun. So they're both out there to be sold, Balogun and Eddie Nketiah. So it just depends what deals come through for the players and whether Arsenal want to sell them or not. I still think that Balogun is a much better risk than Eddie Nketiah, but that's just my opinion. Obviously, some people might disagree with that and say, oh no, Eddie is a better risk than Balogun, given that he only scored his goals in the French league. But listen, I think to score 21 goals, that's no easy task, especially if it's in the French league. Like, you still have to score the goals. I know some of them were penalties, but listen, he still scored a lot of goals that were non-penalty goals as well. So let's just face it. Listen, I'm so happy that Balogun's going to be part of the preseason, and we get to see what he could possibly do in the preseason. I feel like he's a really good striker, and he could take us forward, not backwards. And yeah, listen, I'm happy with this news. We will just see what will happen in the near future with Balogun. Now, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Like I said before, make sure to like, share and subscribe. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this transfer window. It seems like every day we're just getting like 4 or 5 new things happening for Arsenal. So yeah, hopefully they can keep us busy, keep us entertained with what's happening in this transfer window. But most important of all, we need to get that Declan Rice deal done. I don't want to see us sitting there pissing about in the market, making stupid bids. Go in, bid what you need to bid, get Declan Rice in, then you can sit there messing about with all the other transfers. But for now, we need to get Declan Rice in, because he's one of the most important transfers of this window. We need that spine in the midfield. We need that to be in. So yeah, like I said, guys, make sure to subscribe and let me know down below what your thoughts are. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. See you later. Come on, you guys. Bye.